Last year, I packed up all of my belongings and I moved. I picked a new school, a new group of friends, a new home. I was the new kid. In fact, this was my 12th time being the new kid. That's 4 continents, 8 schools, and 14 houses in my 17 years. I'm going to tell you my story. Consider what you want, a personal narrative, a series of lessons, you can choose. But don't worry, you don't have to move 12 times to know what I'm talking about. Feeling different, unaccepted, or like you just don't fit in is something we have all experienced at one point or another. The following poem is titled, Get Comfortable with Being Uncomfortable. I get uncomfortable often. For example, I don't know how to talk to boys, I can never hit the tennis ball with my tennis racket, and I stutter when I'm talking in front of a large crowd. According to every Google search I've done that consists of the keywords stop and being and awkward, the online wizards have suggested that I insert myself in different circumstances, different settings, different places. So I did just that. I moved a lot. From Southend-on-Sea to Karachi, to London to Swansea, to Cayman Island, back to Swansea, to Roosevelt Island, to Little Rock, to Roscommon, to Grayling, to Saginaw, to Ann Arbor, I moved a lot. I don't think I ever had one home or one place or one setting, but I did have one family. I did have one mother, one father, one twin brother, one older brother, and one me. There was only one me, one أريفة سيدا. One me, living through like 7 different lives. Being the new kid can be the best and worst situation. You're pushed into the deep end of society's pool, with the daunting stress of the unknown anchoring you down, and only your undeveloped social skills keeping you from drowning. With every move, everything changed. I went from driving on the left side to driving on the right, from semesters to trimesters, from city to country to city again, but with everything constantly changing around me, the things that stayed the same are what truly defined me. Traveling helped me figure out who I am. I heard my very first poem when I lived in England. The sky wasn't always blue, the grass wasn't always green, but as a Pakistani, my skin color was always brown, always darker than my friends at least. I stuck out like a stain on my white couch. I felt extremely uncomfortable. I heard my second poem when I lived in Pakistan. I was engulfed in beautiful culture, overwhelming sights and scenes, but I could never understand what my cousins were saying. They spoke so fast and in a language unknown, and chuckled when I couldn't comprehend. I felt incredibly uncomfortable. I heard my third poem when I lived in the Caribbean. It was as beautiful as you would expect it to be. It felt as if it was on vacation every single day. I built sandcastles, but not many friendships. My mermaid adventure stories were always a one-person tale. I was alone often, and I felt really uncomfortable. Now you should know, I used to be really shy, always had her hair in her face, didn't speak unless spoken to, that kind of girl. But I soon realized that if I didn't make a conscious effort to put myself out there, as my elementary school counselor would say, I wouldn't be able to adapt to my new home. I wouldn't be able to make new friends, I wouldn't be able to get involved, I wouldn't be able to be comfortable. This socially awkward girl had to learn some social skills. It was a survival tool. I wrote my first poem when I lived in New York. Big city American life was a big change for me. Shopping carts instead of trolleys, Band-Aids instead of plasters. The biggest change wasn't the pennies instead of pence, but the way people treated me. I was bullied for the way I said strawberries. I wrote my second poem when I lived in Arkansas. The heat was sweltering, so hot it almost felt unwelcoming. I thought the southern hospitality would prevail, but apparently it didn't apply to people like me. People like me with hijabs on our heads instead of scarves around our necks. People like me who go to the mosque on Friday instead of church on Sunday. People like me who were hatefully accused of terrorist attacks that we didn't do. I felt uncomfortable. Traveling is all about uncomfortable situations. There are going to be awkward encounters, and there are going to be cringeworthy conversations. Learning how to overcome them is a durable benefit. With every move, I gained a floaty of experience to keep my head above the water. I was given the opportunity to discover new things, which helped me discover myself. I didn't know what ranch was until I moved to Michigan, and now I can't eat pizza without it. Arkansas introduced me to jump rope culture, where I was captain of the second grade double dutch team. New York showed me Broadway, which unearthed my love for musical theater. All valuable lessons I probably would have missed had I stayed in one place. I performed my first poem when I lived here. I lived in the moment, and I felt comfortable. I mean, no, I'm kind of uncomfortable right now, but I'm comfortable with being uncomfortable. Thank you.